Today's show is brought to you by State Farm agent Brian McDevitt. Here's the deal. When you combine State Farm home and auto insurance, save an average of $889. State Farm agent Brian McDevitt is ready to help you combine home and auto, save in Chicago and the surrounding suburbs. Call Brian today at 630-796-2662. That's 630-796-2662. Or visit his website, ryanismyagent.com. That's ryanismyagent.com, and make sure to mention Sports Talk Chicago. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. You know, I thought about this weekend after I saw all the Bears' moves about the cap space. There's only two reasons why this is happening. That's it, only two. One, they're preparing for a big trade. They're prepared to pay Russell Wilson, pay Deshaun Watson, and they're ready to pull the trigger. Number two, they want to extend Allen Robinson, bring in some veteran quarterback, and draft someone too. That's it. It's one of the two. We just don't know which one yet. I will say I was encouraged by what the Bears did. A lot of good things this weekend. Re-signed Cairo Santos, 5 years, $16 million. Pat O'Donnell, 1 year. Patrick Scales is back. They restructured the contracts of Khalil Mack, Cody Whitehair, and Eddie Jackson. They also re-signed Mario Edwards to a deal. All of this stuff is good. I have no complaints on any of it, especially Santos. Especially Santos. You know, I saw people saying, well, you're giving the kicker money and you're still letting Allen Robinson go out to dry. No. Santos is important, and he doesn't cost a lot of money. I want Allen Robinson to be extended very bad, but the fact is right now, the Bears still don't know what they're going to do. In a perfect world, Robinson would be extended, the Bears would acquire Russell Wilson, they'd win a Super Bowl. As we know, it's not a perfect world. All of those moves, though, tell me something. They tell me the Bears want to be active. Save $23 million in cap space. You don't do that just to do it, just to have cap space sitting around. You do it because you're planning on making moves. So I'm very curious to see what this all leads to. I did see a report that Allen Robinson won't agree with the franchise tag. He might hold out. Very scary. I don't know if any of you saw my tweet from last week. I put out a video on Allen Robinson, too. You could go back and watch it or listen to it. He liked the tweet, and the video did well. I said in that video, he deserves money. And I don't blame the guy for being mad and not getting what he wants. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Not a bad wide receiver. Took a big risk to come here after tearing his ACL. I think he's proven at this point that he deserves every penny. And I don't understand why last year a deal wasn't done and why this time around it's still a waiting game. I hate to be this way, but hell, I'm fine with him sitting out. It's going to hurt the Bears, but, you know, at some point you have to put your personal career above the team. Allen Robinson is older. Hasn't gotten paid yet. Tore his ACL, got hurt. The guy's in the best position possible to really make money. Do it. I never understood that. See so many people saying, oh, you're better than this. Stop putting money ahead of the team. Okay. What if you were in his position? What if at work you wanted a raise? And for years your boss wouldn't cave in. Eventually, you'd say, you know what? I'm out of here. You give an ultimatum. You either pay me today or I'm walking. Right? All of you would do the same thing. Why is it an issue when Allen Robinson does it? Don't understand it. I hope he sits out. Or the Bears trade him. Or they pay him. That's it. Can't be sitting here if you're Robinson and just play for cheap. Again, after you earned it already. I do not blame him one bit for wanting what he deserves. Another big piece of Bears news came out, by the way. If you listen to me, if you watch me regularly, you know how much I value Mitch Trubisky as a player, as a quarterback. Not many people agree. That's fine. But it was reported this past weekend that the Bears will allow Mitch Trubisky to leave and address their concerns via free agency or trade. I will say this. Talk about a guy who's been screwed. Talk about a guy who never really got a true opportunity. Every single chance he had was squandered by the coaching staff, by Matt Nagy, by little talent around him, by Nick Foles. Think about this. Let's say you just get drafted in the NFL, okay? You come in, you play under John Fox your rookie year, on his way out, not an offensive guy. You play behind Mike Glennon, who really isn't a help. What the hell are you going to learn from Mike Glennon? New coach comes in, claims he wants to help, doesn't. That new coach eventually benches you for a washed-up quarterback. Then you come back in, lead the team to the postseason, and guess what? You're no longer wanted. How the hell do you explain that? That's my whole problem with this. Okay, it's not a matter of, oh, is Mitch good? You're a truther. No. It's a matter of giving the guy dignity. Giving the guy a legitimate shot. That's what I wanted. I wanted Mitch for 1 year with nothing in the way. Let him sink or swim. If he sinks, we all know he's horrible. If he swims, well, you have to consider keeping him around. And the Bears didn't do that. Not even close. He was swimming, and they took him right out of the pool. Because that didn't work. That wasn't good. They didn't want Mitch to succeed. And they got their wish. And now Mitch is gone, and you know, I really hope the guy tears it up somewhere. Heard about rumors he might go to Denver, Washington. He'd do great in both of those places, especially Washington. Washington is just like Chicago. Defensive-minded coach, defensive team. They dominate with their defense. Good run game. Mitch would fit right in. Wouldn't be asked to throw for 5,000 yards. He'd be asked to be what Alex Smith was there. Game manager. Mitch is a game manager. And whether you like it or not, the Bears won under him. Now I see all these writers saying, well, his legacy is complicated. He did try his best. Where was this positive coverage during the season? I'm just wondering. I don't know about you guys, but all I saw was negative. Bench him. Put in Foles. Put in this Super Bowl MVP. Hey, the Bears made the playoffs, not because of Mitch. Now, though, that he's gone, it's okay to say nice things about him. I cannot stand that pandering. Be honest. I've always been, you know that. I didn't waffle. I didn't tell you, well, I want to see Nick Foles play. No, I said, Mitch Trubisky's undefeated. Why is he being benched? So funny how the narrative shifts. And I can't wait. The Bears will bring in Sam Darnold. And everybody thinks he's some savior. Newsflash, he's a bust. More of a bust than Mitch ever will be. But some people don't want to have that conversation. You look around here in Chicago, and you survey everybody, take a poll, and you say, what do you think about Sam Darnold? Everybody would say, pretty good quarterback. You stick up for a guy like that, but you hang Mitch out to dry. I don't understand it. He'll do great, Mitch, somewhere. May not start right away. I don't expect him to. Should back up, learn the new system, and whomever is in front of him, when they get hurt or when they don't perform, watch Mitch. He'll come in and light it up. Another quote from Jeremy Fowler of ESPN. The expectation league-wide is that the Chicago Bears are going to try and take a big swing at acquiring Russell Wilson. Wilson is intrigued by Chicago's market, intrigued by their offensive-minded head coach, and intrigued by their emerging offensive line. There's interest. Just a matter of the Bears having enough capital to make it happen. For those who are still skeptical, I want you to listen or watch. Pay attention here. Russell Wilson is one of 5 quarterbacks in the NFL who doesn't need any help to win. He's a generational quarterback. He doesn't need 10 wide receivers, great running back, great O-line, great defense. Not like Mitch. Not like anybody. The guy won a Super Bowl with very little. That team right now, not that great. DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are carried by Wilson. They're not good, they're carried by Wilson. He makes people better. That's what you're supposed to do as a quarterback. Make the team around you better. Make your personnel better. Wilson does it. Oh, but he regressed last year. 33. Who cares? Do you want to win a Super Bowl? I'm asking. Do you want to win, or are you looking for Deshaun Watson? I think Watson is a talented quarterback, but there is no chance he stacks up to Russell Wilson right now. Russell Wilson makes the Bears a more instant contender. Watson is talented, but if you give him nothing, like the Bears are right now, don't expect a Super Bowl. Maybe a division. Maybe one playoff win. He won't go to the Super Bowl. Sorry. The only way the Bears go to the Super Bowl is if Russell Wilson is their quarterback. That's it. Deshaun Watson is a great quarterback, but he needs something to help him. Wilson doesn't. That's the guy you have to go all in for. Oh, but he regressed last year. Oh, he's only 33. Might not have a long way to go. Stop it. This isn't in the best interest for the Bears' future. For any other quarterback, I'd say you're right. For Wilson, there's an exception. There's an exception for the best quarterback in football. One of the best. If Tom Brady hit the market right now, I would give up a lot to get him. For maybe 2 or 3 years of good football. I'd do it. The Bears have that same opportunity. Except in this case, they'll get many more than 2 or 3 years out of Wilson. Many more years. We have to think about that. Why are people discounting Russell Wilson for age and part of the year regressing? You know why he regressed last year? He had nothing. And they still won. They still won games. Look, after a while, when every year you're given very little, yes, eventually you're going to crack. Everybody does. But he didn't break. He cracked, didn't break. And in years past, Wilson always comes through. They always win. Never had a losing season with Russell Wilson as the quarterback. You could say it's Pete Carroll. You could say it's their defense, their run game. At the end of the day, though, Wilson and Carroll are the only real constants. And Wilson puts that whole team on his back every year. Really impressive. That's why I don't understand why there's even hesitation. Do you want to win? What do you want? I understand draft picks are big. I understand the future you have to worry about. For any other quarterback, I'd say you're right. Probably not the best idea. Even Deshaun Watson to an extent. Not for 4 first-round picks? I don't know. But for Russell Wilson, yes, you give it all up. You could get 4, 5, 6 good years out of him. At the end of the day, you could be a Super Bowl champion too. I know you might say it's short-sighted, irresponsible, hold on to your picks, don't mortgage the future. I sympathize. But you can't be like that when there's a quality player out there. It'd be different if the Bears said, we're going to go all in on Tua. Not even a comparison, right? We're going to go all in on Sam Darnold. What would you say to that? You'd say, irresponsible, wrong, don't do it. Keep the picks. But there's a big difference between Sam Darnold or Tua or any other quarterback and Russell Wilson. Always keep that in mind. I know it's tough to get rid of these good draft picks. But at the end of the day, you're acquiring a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. You're acquiring a superstar. And his peak isn't over. Everyone might tell you he regressed last year, but his peak is not over yet. Long way to go for him. Let's keep that in mind. The Bears should do whatever they need to do to acquire Russell Wilson. Plain and simple. They freed up some cap space. Allen Robinson might be a casualty. But at the end of the day, if you have a franchise quarterback and you pair him with that defense, you'll win. And if you could sub in and plug in a couple of wide receivers, have a couple of Darnell Mooneys, a couple of 5th-round picks who turn out good, you're fine. David Montgomery is still here, still in Chicago. You have a running back. Cohen's coming back. Just need a quarterback. And if I'm the Bears, I'm giving up everything I can, everything I have, to get Russell Wilson. More to come here on Sports Talk Chicago. My interview with Randy Mueller comes up next, so stay tuned. Hey, do you want to make some money this weekend? What if I told you I could offer you $253 to bet on any game you want? Here's what you have to do. Go to sportstalkchicago.com/cash. sportstalkchicago.com/cash. You must be 21 plus. You must be an Illinois resident. You could bet $253 on any game you want for this upcoming weekend. March Madness is here, and it's going to be great. Illinois, Loyola, Chicago, both in the tournament. This is, without question, the best time to put down some money, especially on the tournament. Win a whole lot more back. sportstalkchicago.com/cash. sportstalkchicago.com/cash. You have a gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.